Most people learn Redis as a pile of word commands to memorize. Set, LPUSH, ZADD, EXPIRE. But Redis is really just one idea, a giant dictionary that lives in memory. Get that one idea, and every command stops being trivial and starts being obvious. By the end of this video, you'll be able to guess a Redis command before you look it up. Here's the whole thing in a sentence. Redis is a dictionary, the same key-to-value map you already use in every language, except it lives in its own process in RAM, and other programs can talk to it over the network. That's it. In Python, you'd write a dictionary like this. Redis is that same shape, just living somewhere your whole system can reach. So when you run the simplest Redis command, you are setting a key to a value. You set user session 42 to Alice. You get user session 42 back and you get Alice. Set and get are just dictionary assignment and dictionary lookup with a network in the middle. Everything else in Redis is a variation on this one move, a key pointing at a value held in memory.
Hold that picture.
We're going to add exactly one new idea at a time, and you'll see every data type fall out of it naturally. And notice what this buys you immediately, because it's a separate process. Other programs reach over the network. 10 different services. Your web app, your worker, your mobile backend can all share the same dictionary at the same time. That's why Redis shows up as a cache, a session store, and a message bus all at once. It's the one shared dictionary every part of your system can see. The simplest value a key can hold is a string. A string in Redis isn't just text. It's any blob, a name, a number, a JSON document, even a small image. When you store a number as a string, Redis is smart enough to do math on it. You can call incr on a key and it goes up by 1 atomically, which is exactly what you want for a page view counter or a rate limiter. No read, change, write, raise condition, because Redis does it in a single step. A real example, every time someone hits your homepage, you call incr on a key called page views today. One command, no locking, and the count is always right, even with 1,000 requests a second. Set that same key to expire at midnight, and tomorrow it starts fresh on its own. So already, with nothing but keys and string values, you have a cache, a counter, and a rate limiter. But the real power shows up when the value isn't a single thing. That's the one new idea. Let the value be a collection. Take that same key and let its value be an ordered list. Now, the key points are the sequence you can push onto and pop off of. You push jobs onto the right of the list and the worker pops them off the left. That is a queue, and you just built it with 2 commands. LPUSH adds to one end, rpop takes from the other. People reach for a whole message broker like RabbitMQ or Kafka for this, and a lot of the time, a Redis list is genuinely enough. If you're pushing a few thousand background jobs a minute, a list and a worker loop will carry you a long way before you need anything heavier. The mental model didn't change. It's still a key pointing at a value. The value just happens to be a list instead of a string. Same dictionary, richer value. Now make the value itself a small dictionary. A Redis hash is a key that points at a set of field value pairs. So user 42 can hold name Alice, Plan, Pro, and the login count all under one key. Why not just store a JSON string? Because with a hash you can read or update one field without fetching and rewriting the whole object. You set a field with hset and read one with hget. You can bump just the login count and leave the name and plan untouched. No pass, no reserialized, no race between 2 servers writing at once. With a JSON string, 2 requests updating different fields can clobber each other. With a hash, they can't. It's a dictionary, whose value is a dictionary. The model is recursive, and that's the point. Once you see that the value can be any of these shapes, you stop memorizing and start choosing the shape that fits the job. There's one data type that feels like magic until you see it through this lens, the sorted set. A sorted set is a key whose value is a collection of members, each with a score kept in order by that score automatically. The classic use is a leaderboard. You add a player with their score using ZADD and Redis slots them into the right rank instantly. Ask for the top 10 with 0ng and it's immediate because the order is always maintained, never recomputed. Imagine doing that with a database. Sorting a million rows by score on every page load would crawl. The sorted set sorts once on insert and stays sorted forever after. Leaderboards, priority queues, rate limiters with time windows, anything where order matters and changes often. This is the tool. It's still a key pointing at a value. The value is just a collection that refuses to be out of order. Everything so far has been about what a value can be. Here's the second and last idea you need. A key doesn't have to live forever. You can give any key a time to live, and Redis will delete it for you when the clock runs out. You set a session, you say it expires in 10 seconds, and 10 seconds later it's gone. No cron job, no cleanup script. This is why Redis is the default tool for caching and for sessions. A cache entry that deletes itself is exactly what you want. This one feature, expiry, is half the reason Redis is everywhere. The other half is speed. Redis is fast for one boring reason. The whole dictionary lives in RAM, not on a disk. Reading from memory is on the order of 100 nanoseconds. Reading from a spinning disk is closer to 10 milliseconds. That's not a little faster. That's 100,000 times faster. And it's the entire reason Redis can answer in well under a millisecond. But that speed is also the catch, and this is the part people skip. RAM is limited and RAM is volatile. If Redis holds too much, it hits its memory limit and starts evicting keys to make room, usually the least recently used ones first. That's fine for a cache, where a missing key just means you fall back to the database. It is not fine if you assume that key would always be there. A lot of 3 a.m. incidents are someone discovering that Redis quietly dropped data they treated as permanent. And if the server loses power, anything only in memory can vanish. Redis does have two ways to write to disk: periodic snapshots and an append-only log of every write it can replay on restart. Those help, and plenty of teams run Redis durably. But even with them on the mental model you must keep is this: Redis is memory first. The disk is a safety net, not the main flaw. Treat Redis as the fast disposable layer in front of your real database, not as the place your only copy of something lives. If losing it would mean losing data you can't rebuild, it belongs in Postgres, not in Redis. That single rule will save you a very bad day. So here's everything in one breath. Redis is a dictionary in RAM. Keys point at values. A value can be a string, a list, a hash, or a sorted set, and any key can be told to expire. You don't memorize set and LPUSH and ZADD as separate facts. You ask, what shape is my value? And the command follows. That's the difference between someone who looked up Redis commands and someone who actually understands Redis. You now have the second one. So I'm curious where you use it first. Is Redis a cache for you, a job queue, a session store, or something weirder? Tell me in the comments because the weird ones are always the most interesting. And if this made Redis finally click, do me one favor, hit like and subscribe. It genuinely tells me which ideas land, and it's the thing that lets me keep making these. Next, I'm doing the same one mental model treatment for Postgres indexes. The thing everyone adds and nobody really pictures. That one will change how you read a slow query. I'll see you there.